Time to turn around to business. Kate Moody joins us. Good evening to you, Kate.
Hi, Mark.
US President Joe Biden has extended an emergency measure to help homeowners during the pandemic. Tell us more.
Well, the White House has extended a moratorium on foreclosures in the United States for the second time. The measures were renewed on the president's first day in office. They had been due to expire at the end of March. They'll now remain in effect for a further 3 months. Data show some 12 million Americans are worried about making their next mortgage payment. Some 3 million of them have applied to pause or reduce their payments for a set period of time. That's another emergency program that was brought in during the pandemic. A moratorium on evictions is, for now, set to run out at the end of March. Meanwhile, President Biden is traveling to Wisconsin, his first trip out of Washington since his inauguration, to press his case for a $1.9 trillion pandemic relief bill. Republicans have balked at the high price tag. A small group of moderates is still negotiating a possible bipartisan compromise. Eurozone member states should maintain financial support for businesses and households at least until COVID vaccination programs are well underway. That's the message from the bloc's finance and economy ministers, who held virtual talks this Tuesday and said the economic recovery for the Eurozone would be weaker than initially forecast for 2021. Meanwhile, governments are preparing their proposals for how they'd like to spend their portions of the bloc's €750 billion recovery fund. Plans are to be submitted to the European Commission from this Friday.
National plans must address all or significant subset of challenges in the country-specific recommendations. They should set out how each country will contribute to the green and digital transitions, and they should strike a proper balance between reforms and investments.
Let's check in on the day's trading action now. A fairly muted close for the major European indices. Stocks in Milan dropped about 2/3 of a percentage point, but investors did rush to buy Italian government bonds in the first such offering since former European Central Bank President Mario Draghi was sworn in as Prime Minister. Wall Street briefly hit new record highs earlier in the session, but stocks pared back those gains for a modest mixed close. The Nasdaq slightly below the flat line at the close, the Dow Jones with a very small gain there. Energy was the best performing sector. It rose about 2% as freezing temperatures and winter storms in the south of the U.S. sparked a rally in oil prices. On the cryptocurrency market, the value of Bitcoin continued its volatile rise, topping $50,000 for the first time before dropping back slightly. The price of the most popular digital currency has gained 75% since the start of this year alone. There have been a rush of investors as financial institutions begin to open up to the relatively new market, and companies like Tesla and PayPal have said they'll begin accepting it as payment. Regulators remain cautious, though. The heads of the US and EU central banks have said they should be viewed as a risky investment rather than a commodity or classic currency. The coronavirus pandemic has reignited a price war between supermarkets and producers in France. Annual price negotiations between retailers and suppliers are set to conclude at the end of this month, as farmers say they're coming under increasing pressure to lower prices. This despite a law passed in 2018 aimed at ensuring that they are paid their fair share. Yuka Royer has more.
Behind the supermarket shelves, a battle over prices. Suppliers are coming under increasing pressure, particularly smaller companies.
Chaque année, on a l'impression que pendant 2 mois, on ne vit plus. On joue notre avenir. Ouais. Ça, c'est une certitude.
In its annual negotiations with retailers, this fruit juice and soup company agreed to lower the prices of their products by 7 to 9%, fearing repercussions.
Quand on dit David contre Goliath, c'est vraiment la position. Si à un moment donné, on n'est pas en capacité de baisser suffisamment les prix, on va se faire enlever un certain nombre de produits.
That's exactly what happened this year. One large supermarket chain cut the product range from this firm by half, resulting in a 10% decline in its revenue. Despite the 2018 food and agriculture law aimed at ensuring fair prices for producers, retail giants continue to put pressure on suppliers. They say it's necessary because of reduced purchasing power of consumers due to the coronavirus crisis.
Il y a plus d'un tiers des Français qui ont du mal à finir leur mois sans être en déficit, sans être dans le rouge. Donc naturellement, il faut en tenir compte. Il faut faire en sorte qu'il n'y ait pas globalement d'augmentation massive des prix.
More and more producers are calling for price negotiations every 2 years instead of 1, so they can have more stability and concentrate on their business.
French authorities are to begin organising test concerts to find out whether it's safe for large venues to reopen despite the circulation of COVID-19. The live music industry has been battered by the pandemic, losing tens of billions of dollars and affecting everyone from artists to sound engineers. Yana Lee reports.
This French rap group hopes to be back on stage and in front of a crowd next month. IAM has volunteered to be part of a live music experiment authorized by the Culture Ministry to measure the dangers of COVID-19 contagion in large indoor facilities.
Every test or experiment that shows that concert halls aren't more dangerous than shopping centers, metros, or trains could prompt decision makers on a national level to reopen venues.
In Paris, Accor Hotels Arena 2 is set to organize a similar experiment, hoping to help the industry get back on its feet as soon as possible. But it's not just about big venues and big artists not being able to perform in front of their fans. Trade publication Polestar estimates that the global concert industry lost over $30 billion in 2020. Behind this number, sound engineers, venue staff, technical operators, and dozens of more professions and millions of livelihoods. In the UK alone, 170,000 jobs were at risk in 2020, according to one group of industry representatives. It's not all bleak for the music sector, though. Streaming platforms were more popular than ever last year. Tech giant Spotify has seen a 24% year-over-year increase in premium subscribers. To adapt to the situation, many artists have turned to live online concerts, and so have distribution companies. Last week, Ticketmaster launched a live stream service to cater to the growing demand.
There you go. Those test concerts are going to be underway here in France. They're already trying them out in countries like Germany and Spain as well, Mark.
Indeed. The sooner we get back to concerts safely, the better. But it has to be safe, doesn't it? That's the whole thing. Kate with the business, as ever. Thank you very much indeed. Great to see you. We take a short break. After that, there's more news. Live from Paris. Stay with us.